Hey, what's going on, people? And welcome to another episode of Riley's Talk. So, the last few days, of course, it was the Super Bowl and stuff like that. So, I was pretty much occupied with the Chiefs versus Bucks. But let's backtrack real quickly to politics, of course. So, we got the impeachment trial going on. Um, we know what's going to happen, but we don't know what's going to happen. We got to play this whole thing out. So before we get into it, as usual, do me a favor, as always, hit the like, subscribe, and share button. So, like I said, we got the impeachment trial going on. A lot of it is about what led up to the January 6th storming of the U.S. Capitol building, where 5 people died. And allegedly, I'm not a journalist, something like that, so you might hear me use the word allegedly, so I don't get any type of lawsuit coming back my way. So allegedly, it is being said that Donald Trump is responsible for it. So on today's show, we're going to talk about whether he's responsible or not, why Donald Trump isn't, in the meantime, going anywhere. He is still going to be a force to reckon with within the Republican Party. On top of that, why he might run again and for the president of 2024. Because as of this moment, I mean, things change fast in politics. Things change fast. What's talked about today will be forgotten next week when the next news scandal come out, what have you. But as of this moment, Trump is untouchable. He's untouchable unless you outvote him. So he is definitely going to be a power player here in the upcoming election and for the next foreseeable future state house elections. Any Republican that wants to win a state house, especially in a deep red state, you're going to need Trump support. If you get Trump support, you pretty much are going to win. So let's get to the impeachment. Now, I don't have any notes right now in front of me, so I'm pretty much winging this one about what I think I know and what I may actually know. So what we do know is a couple of weeks ago, again, Donald Trump was impeached for the second time. Impeachment does not mean conviction. It just literally means that the House of Representatives have found evidence of whatever, and they say that we're going to bring you to trial. Now, unlike a regular jury trial or a civil trial or a bench trial, in politics, trials are bipartisan. They are bipartisan. It doesn't matter if you are guilty or innocent. It matters if that at the end of the day, can I keep my vote? Can I keep my whatever it is, my seat on a budget committee? One of the most powerful House committees is the Budget and Means House Means and Budget Committee, I think is what it's called. So these people, although the Republicans don't have control in the House, some of them have very powerful committee positions. And unlike the Senate or the president, where the Senate runs every 6 years and the president runs for re-election every 4 years, the House of Representatives, every last one of them runs every 2 years. So 2 years is not a lot of time for people to forget. So again, if you're in a deep red state, you're going to need Trump support. Or better yet, if you have Trump support, that gives you, in my opinion, half the battle right there. I mean, this guy is not going anywhere, and we're going to have to deal with him. It is what it is. You just got to deal with him. So what we know is this. When the House impeached Trump, what we know is 10 Republicans decided to vote to impeach Trump. This, on the Republican side of the House, I think all Democrats voted to impeach him. You may have had one. I would not be surprised if it was the gentleman. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Excuse me. He's in the Senate. So you had pretty much the entire Democratic Party vote to impeach Trump plus 10 Republicans. Those 10 Republicans are now facing primary challenges because you don't go against Trump. You just don't do this. According to the GOP or the Republican Party, those that stormed the Capitol were either A, patriots, either B, a false flag, Antifa, Black Lives Matter. These weren't actual Trump supporters because Trump supporters would not do that. Now, if you fall into conspiracy theories, you may believe that. for myself and those others that we know what we saw. We know what we saw. It was on January 6th. Trump supporters decided to storm the Capitol building in an effort to overturn the 2020 election. Trump had every lawsuit. He had everything that you can think about. Remember the call he had to Georgia, to their Secretary of State? In so many words, he told them, look, you need to find me about 10,000 votes. You know, although that in and of itself would have not won him the White House, it would have put enough doubt into the election process that Trump would have kept his little lie going or his conspiracy theory going. I mean, look, the election is over with. Trump, you lost, bro. You lost. But with these different conspiracy theories out here, they are just refusing to believe it. They are just refusing to believe it. And these people are definitely going to vote more Republicans per capita, or excuse me, more importantly, conservatives per capita. They vote much more than Democrats or liberals. Now, liberals may have their points and stuff like that, but a city like I live in, Chicago, you know, we have 3 million people, a Democratic stronghold. But for the most part, unless it's a presidential election, you don't have to worry about the turnout being extremely high. That's just kind of how it goes. But on the other hand, state house elections, midterm elections, non-presidential elections, these people come out and vote. The conservatives, they come out and vote very heavily. And these are the ones that are going to keep Donald Trump in power. Now, this is where Trump can potentially fuck up at. They're talking about creating a new party. Now, if you're a Democrat or a liberal, you should be excited about this, and I'll tell you why. Because if they create a new party, what you're going to do is split the vote. So you have 100 people. Let's just say 50 vote Democrat, 50 normally vote Republican. But Trump comes in and creates this new Patriot Party. Guess what? Now you only have 25% voting Republican and 25% voting, per se, Trump, whereas the Democrats win. So if you are a Democrat or a progressive or a liberal, you should be somewhat happy that, guess what? Trump is starting this new party. But this new party is going to be a problem. It is going to be a fucking problem, because here go all your conspiracy theorists. Here go all your Parler members. Here go all your Gab.com members. These are the ones that feel things like Sandy Hook. Remember the school shooting where a bunch of 6 and 7 year olds got killed? You know, about 14 of them, a couple of staff. These folks believe that Sandy Hook is not real. They don't believe the Stone Douglas shooting is real. They don't believe these things. And in my opinion, it makes no sense to argue with them, because they're not going to agree with it. They're just not going to do that. So these people are going to come out and vote for Trump in full fold. And if you are one of their representatives, basically meaning that you were elected, especially to the House of Representatives, you were elected to represent them. And if you do not vote in their best interest, they will remove you. They will remove you with no problem, no ifs and buts about it. So it's almost as if the GOP or the Republican Party is leaning much more further to the right than it always ever have and ever will be. So yes, Donald Trump is not going anywhere. And there's a couple of good reasons why he might not be going anywhere as well. Or it's hard to put it into perspective, but so good reasons. Before COVID, believe it or not, yes, the economy was doing very well. It was doing very well. Now, that's kind of a misnomer or a distortion of the truth. And I'll tell you what I mean by that is this. Generally speaking, when a Republican is in the White House, and especially if they have control of all 3 branches of Congress, or at least 2 of the 3, guess what? There's less regulation. So money gets to flowing very easily, very easily. Here's the problem now. As we saw in 2008 during the housing crisis, if any of you all remember that, those that lost their houses and stuff like that, you learned that a lot of that money wasn't real. It was based off of fabricated information where they just created money out of thin air. But generally speaking, while Trump was in the White House, money was flowing. And the average everyday American voter, that's all they care about is how is my pockets looking right now. Right now, we're not worried about when the scandal comes. We're not worried about this, that, and the other. How are my pockets looking right now? Secondly, I mean, literally the day Biden got in office, literally after he was sworn in. I mean, there are plenty of progressives who are progressive as can be. They are as Democrat can be. But certain things cross not necessarily economic lines, but more social statuses. And what I mean by this is this. Biden's order to, quote unquote, allow transgenders to compete athletically at the college level, high school level, that rubbed a lot of liberals the wrong way. That rubbed a lot of progressives the wrong way. And as you can see, obviously, I'm an African American. 19% of black men in this last election voted for Donald Trump. And in my opinion, they did that for one of two reasons, or maybe both of them. Number one was economic. Like I just said, forget a wall. Forget Iran, how much money is going into my pocket and how much money is the United States government taking. The second one is social issues. And I'm not going to get into my personal 100% feelings about it for various reasons, but I can understand why a lot of liberals, progressives was like, time out. Time out. What do you mean that my daughter now has to go up against biological males in the athletic world where she's automatically at a disadvantage? So that might be a way that a lot of people be like, you know what? It's just not happening. It's just not happening. So again, Trump is here to stay for reasons like that. And then again, there's a cult that follows this man. I don't know why. I don't get sucked into cults very easily. I used to be in the Marine Corps, and I had one of my old platoon sergeants tell me that, you know, well, the Marine Corps is a cult itself. Excuse me. And I kind of get where he's coming from. I do. But I volunteered for that. I got paid for it. Free college. Got to travel the world. I knew what I was getting into. I never believed in any, like a good example. Again, I'm a veteran. The moment we got our first briefing to go to Baghdad or go to Iraq, what have you, I mean, at that time, I'm just, you know, I had to follow orders, but I knew those orders and I knew the reason that it was going to Baghdad was bullshit. I knew it was. The very first orders that I've had that we was going to secure the Ramallah oil fields to make Iraq and, you know, for them to pay for this war. We were not there to take over a country. We were there to take over the bad party and Saddam Hussein. And I just was listening like, just give it to me straight, Gunny. You know, my gunnery sergeant, I think gunnery sergeant Cuomo or something like that. Like, just give it to me straight, you know, lieutenant, whoever. You know what I mean? I just knew this was fucking bullshit. I knew it was bullshit. So when it comes to cults, though, like QAnon, and I'm going to have another video about QAnon, the most batshit fucking crazy thing I have ever heard of in my life. QAnon literally believes there is a cabal of Democrats and Hollywood elites that they are hell-bent on child molestation, and allegedly Trump is the one that is supposed to be coming to and taking them over and things like that. That's why Trump was elected. And, you know, nowadays that Trump is not in office, he's coming back. And see, people like QAnon and all these other conspiracy theories, they vote. They don't just have an opinion. They don't just have a voice. They actually fucking vote. And that's the issue. That's the issue. Liberals and progressives per capita don't vote on the same issues as conservatives and Republicans. So Donald Trump is not going anywhere. And I really wish people understand this. Yes, Kamala Harris won. Joe Biden won. Even if Trump didn't win in 2024, he is going to completely control the Republican Party. So be prepared to deal with him. So that's pretty much, I know I was all over the place and I completely apologize for that. Also, this is my first time doing a live stream through YouTube as this way. So I'm getting new at this. So you work with me a little bit here now. So as always, do me a favor, hit the like, subscribe, and share button. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of Riley's Talk. You all have a wonderful evening. Good day.